So I'm on the second part of Mistborn Secret History, and what we get essentially is Kelsier locked in the Well of Ascension, and this is the slowest we've ever seen Kelsier. So we get what feels like probably the most time just hanging out with him in a slow period. And it has been a while since I read the first book, The Final Empire, of the original trilogy, so maybe I'm wrong, maybe we do get some slower periods there, but it feels like this is the most time we get with Kelsier where he's just dealing with himself, spending time with himself and figuring things out, and I really enjoyed it. So after a while, he turns his attention to the god that is in the well with him, and that is of course Ruin, and the descriptions are amazing, and I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but it was essentially likening it to a black hole that is chaotic and alive, and the descriptions that Sanderson goes into really makes me feel the level of despair, but also it's like when you imagine something huge in the ocean with you, it's so scary because it's so much bigger than you, and then obviously that would just be in like a tiny well and it would be infinitely more scary. So I don't know, I feel like the way he described it gave me a really good sense of the utter dread that would come with come from dealing with something like Ruin, or even having Ruin notice that you're alive and in the pool. The best thing, and Sanderson is so good at this, he adds in a little smidgen of a character, and I think it's pronounced Cephandrius. It looks like it's pronounced Cephandrius. This guy, Kelsier tries to fight him, of course, because it's Kelsier, and he says some things and does some things in a really short period of time that just gets me so excited for the rest of the Cosmere. And as I said, Sanderson is so good at that. He is amazing at giving you a glimpse of the wider world and something to think about, something to chew on, that will get you excited for the rest of the story. And in this case, it's him saying something to Kelsier. He says, "I haven't been bested in centuries." And then he seems to go through Ruin to enter the waking world, which would suggest that he is a god. It would suggest that he plays the power games and that he probably isn't living or spending most of his time on Scadrial. And then also something else that happens is Preservation says, what does he say? Preservation says he's surprised that Cephandrius has decided to partake and participate, or something along those lines, in the games that they play, something like that. And it just goes to show how wide and how huge the story is, because Ruin and Preservation are the gods that created Scadrial, and then this is someone else just getting involved. So clearly there is some kind of community or some kind of something where there's more gods, of course, and it's a wider world and they interact with each other. So Scadrial, although important, isn't the universe, and we knew that already, but to get such a tasty and interesting kind of, he seemed like very much a wild card just thrown in there, has made me so hungry to learn more about the Cosmere. So Cephandrius is in the world. I can't decide whether he's going to do something pivotal that we had attributed to somebody else, or if he's just going to be a tasty teaser for the rest of the Cosmere, and potentially both, but I really don't have any guesses as to what he may have gone and done, because I only just found out about him. I suppose that's the only reason why. But yeah, I can't hazard a guess there, but I would guess if he's there, he's going to do something else that's going to get us excited, and he'll probably use some kind of power or some kind of magic or some kind of system that hasn't yet been introduced, and therefore it will get me really excited and hungry for what's to come. And as I predicted, Kelsier is the reason Ellen gets stabbed, and as soon as I realized that Kelsier was going to be there at the pool, I knew, well, I had an inkling that that was going to be him. Very Kelsier. And then finally we get Kelsier winning Preservation over, as he does with nearly everybody in the end. They kind of see eye to eye and have a bit of a moment, and then Kelsier is free. He is out of the well, and what's he going to do? I found it really hard to hazard a guess, because this whole, like, I barely have any answers at all about the kind of midway world that he's in. what he's able to affect, I would guess it's metal, which is also people who can affect the metal as well. It seems to be one and the same. So yeah, it's hard to make guesses. I would say though that I think he's going to tie himself to Sazed. And the reason I think he would tie himself to Sazed, I should say, I always say his name wrong. The reason I think he would tie himself to Sazed is because that was his guy. He probably figures out quite quickly that he's going to be the hero of ages because he has the other side to work from. So my guess is that we're going to see some Kelsier affecting Sazed and helping him see through his despair and helping through the other side of that. So that's my guess for what's going to happen in this next section. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. I do these often. I will see you at the next one.